So I'll go ahead and invite our panelists. We're going to have a very short conversation just to talk about the documentaries and then open it up for Q&A. So we'll have a 10-minute discussion and then Q&A. Zainab Ango, who was the director and one of the producers of the documentary, teaches in the Department of English and Literary Studies, University of Abuja. Please welcome Zainab Ango panel. Dr. Ango holds a PhD in Literary Studies from ABU Zaria. Her research and teaching interests are in African literature, cultural studies, gender, and sexuality studies. She has been an awardee of the British Academy Open Arts Foundation Academic Writing Workshop, under which she is exploring sexualities in Hausa digital fictional narratives. She's an associate of the Leeds University Center for African Studies. Please round of applause for Zainab once again. And then I will invite the moderator for the panel, Suleiman Osman Yusuf. Is Suleiman here? Suleiman is the chairman of the board of directors for Open Arts. He is the CEO and founder of Bold Age Consult. He is a politician, a mentor, a researcher, an advocate, a consultant. I can keep going. Please round of applause for Suleiman.
I'll pretend I didn't hear you, Sada. I'm still in spiritual moments of what we have watched earlier, honestly. I keep asking myself whether as a person I'm doing enough to address some of the social ills we have in the society, especially as it relates to gender-based violence. This panel is going to be a very unique panel. We've had panels in Hausa and some in English. But this time around, this panel will be unique such that it's going to be an Ingausa kind of panel. So some questions will be asked in English, some in Hausa, some in Pidgin, and what have you. So join me to welcome Dr. Zainab Ango once again. So a scholar by name Robert M.C. Key says, and I quote, that storytelling is one of the most powerful way to put ideas, in the world today. This quote simply relates to what we have watched, in the sense that there were two stories, right? One is talking about Kano and the complexities of life in Kano within a period of 5 months. And the other is talking about a prevailing social circumstance, with specific reference to Jigawa. So let's delve into the discussion quickly. Dr. Zainab. So a lot of people would be wondering, what informed the film we watched, Scarlet Veil?
Okay, thank you. I'm not a filmmaker, and the idea initially was not to produce a film. This whole idea was conceived, it was part of a research I was doing on pedophilia and trauma. And so I went to, and it was the time of COVID. And at that time we were all at home, and I was always listening to the radio, and there will always be a case of rape. A child has been raped, a child has been found somewhere lying down in her pool of blood, So it got me thinking, and I said, well, let me use this opportunity to do this research and focus particularly on girls, little girls that happen to be victims of this terrible, terrible thing. So I went to the research, to do my research at the center there, Center for Sexual Assault Referral Center. That was my first point of call. And I found out that they had an alarming record of sexual abuses, cases of sexual abuses. So when I asked the doctor, please, I'm a researcher, and can we talk about these things? He said, no, why not? So I said, can I please document them, come with a camera? He said, why not? As long as you are not going to make a film to sell, we don't mind. What we need is awareness. So I said, fine, I'm a researcher, I'm not making a film for profit. So I got you could see it's not even, it's a very low budget film. So I got my neighbor, I said, come, Hussein, come with your camera, let's go. So we went, and these 3 victims, I think I interviewed about 16 victims, but these 3 that we've just watched are those that gave us consent to publish, to show their ordeal. So that was the beginning. That was how I met some of these victims. I met so many other little children that are victims of this horrible crime against children, against our future. That was what conceived the idea.
All right, thank you very much. Hajiya, za mu so mu san wani abu game da wannan ɗan takaitaccen film ɗin da aka nuna. Wani abu ne kika gani na tashin hankali? Kasancewan kin yi alaƙa da waɗannan mata da abubuwa daban-daban ya faru da su. Menene ya fi tayar miki da hankali in the course of your engagement with the...
Wallahi, Malam Suleiman, from the beginning to the end, I was not myself. Wallahi, ko da na gama sai da aka yi min counseling. It was traumatic. And especially because at that moment, my girl was 8 years old, about the age that most of these girls were being violated. For a long time, ko barin ta gurin kawunan ta bani iyawa wallahi. But in ta tafi makaranta ina zaune kawai sai in ji hankali na ya tashi. It was that bad. Saboda abin da ya faru man Suleiman, zaka ga most of wadda suke yin wannan abin yan uwa ne, abokan iyayensu, kai wani mahaifi ne ma yake raping din diyansa. Kuma aka kai kara sai maman sai ta ce, aka ce za a yi convicting ɗinsa, ta ce yanzu idan aka yi convicting ɗinsa da wanne za su ji? Na ɗaya stigma, ƙarshen ta yaran nan ba wanda zai aure su. Na biyu, in aka yi convicting ɗinsa wa zai ciyar da su? So irin wa'annan abin gaba ɗaya man Suleiman, in ka lura there is a common denominator, poverty ne. In ka lura za ka ga duk wa'annan gidajen da muka tafi. Kuma Jigawa na da, I'm sorry to say, ko akwai mutanen Jigawa a nan, Jigawa na da wani culture mara kyau na cirani din nan. So most of iyaye, able-bodied men, sai ka ga sun tafi. In ka shiga ƙauye sai ka ga gida, a whole compound, za ka ga yara 20, sai wani ɗan tsoho guda ɗaya, sai mata. So it means babu wani monitoring sosai, babu wani kulawa sosai, sai yaran nan kawai rampant. Kaga na ɗaya kenan? Na biyu, duka waɗanda muka yi interview da su, majority of them, banda rape ɗin, they were infected da HIV. Shi ma wannan wani tsarabar da suke kawowa ne daga ciranin nan. So, za a yi violating ɗin yarinya, she's maybe 12, 11, 13, a mata ciki, ta haifi ɗa illegitimate, kaga yadda ake ɗaukan illegitimate yaro a ƙasa Hausa. Sannan a batta da HIV, ga trauma na abuse din kanshi. Wallahi, most of these girls, kaga dai don an rufe idanunsu ko, they are in perpetual pain da za ku ga. Some of them sai suna zaune suna haka, duk waɗannan likitoci za ku ga muku signs ne na trauma, ko suna haka wasu irin involuntary abin da haka da suke yi da jikinsu. So duk waɗannan abubuwan, wallahi man Suleiman, I had to go through counseling for a very long time before I was lucky. Someone was paying for me to get counseled because it was a commission to research. Amma yaran nan, who is paying for them? Nobody. Kaga dilemma din abin? So that is the situation, Maslemo.
Well, this just reminds me of a situation. Some of these military guys that were deployed to fight the bandits and the BH guys, sometimes when they come back, they have to undergo a PTSD kind of approach, because imagine taking somebody from a certain soft zone to a very hard zone and bringing him back to that soft zone. It means his approach may be different from what used to be initially. So saying you had gone through counseling, it's very troubling. But there is something very more troubling. I don't know if it was me that picked that out of the content. The lady, when you ask her a specific question, I can't remember that question exactly, but she says that Nai Makaina, as if she has done this to herself. But we all know it's not true. I'm not supposed to use certain language, but that idiot out there was also responsible. But she was made to think that the whole thing started and ended within her. I think that's very unfortunate. That thinking has to change. Hajia, what would you say?
I also encountered that yaran they make them feel suni. Su suka yi wa kansu wannan abin. Yes. A misali yanzu, and kaga yaran nan tsakanin 12 ne, 13, I think the oldest was 14 a cikinsu. Minors ne. Amma idan wannan abin ya faru da su a misali, ka san yadda iyayenmu suke? Su kawai ya aka yi kika samu wannan abin, ya aka yi kika aiwai kika aiwai, ya aka yi kika, you know, and then shi wanda ya wannan abin kai ka sani a ƙasa Hausa a ce wai misbehavior ado ne a ga namiji amma mace ita za ta ji kunya ko, so shi wanda ya wannan abin ba a ganin mai laifi ne ba bai da laifi, sai dai wannan yarinya. In fact, part of the people I interviewed was the Grand Kadi na Jigawa. Na ce mishi waɗannan yaran ai dai a minor. Ya ce min in Islam babu idea na minor sai dai balaga. Na ce okay. So, how do you define balaga din? Of course, if we know what balaga means, it means they are of menstruation, but hankalin sifa. So it means those children cannot even, unless their parents take the steps to prosecute, su kansu ma ba za su iya zuwa because evidence insu is not admissible in court. They are minors. Wato mas neman abin gabaki daya tsarin bai yi ba.
Allah ya kiyaye. Hajiya a baya faɗan irin wannan labarin yana da matukar wahala. Bayan yana da wahala yana ma da haɗari. Akwai haɗarori tattare da faɗan irin wannan labarin, musamman a ce mace ce za ta fito ta faɗi labarin mata. Hajiya, akwai wasu kalubale da kika haɗu da su wurin gudanar da wannan bincike naki?
Of course, sosai kuwa. Wannan kuma kaga dama, especially mu a societies ɗinmu, kawai we develop a thick skin to wannan irin abin, ka riga ka yadda kowa yana gani a'a ba Yahudiya, a'a ka ta karɓo kwangila a gurin Yahudawa, boko aƙida, and all of those things. We just, idan ka dubi magnitude din abin da ya faru da yaran nan, duk abin da aka gaya maka ba komi bane. Because ni yadda na gaya maka, I had trauma, but I was counseled and it was paid, and ina da wannan advantage in luxury din wadda ba su da shi. So duk wani abin da za a gaya min gaskiya is just by the way. Amma threat kan mun sha threat har yau ma muna sha.
To Hajja, a ƙarshe kafin mu koma ga audience si tambaya, those that have any question or contribution would also open up. But before then, I think this is very fundamental. Hajiya, za mu so mu san wasu wannan ba irin shirin sangaya ba ne ko wani abin nishadi duka mun kalla so amma zai tsaya ga kallon ne me za ki ce ma mutane haka da suka kalli wannan abin menene kike so mu yi a matsayinmu na al'umma kasancewa wani bai ma san wannan yana faruwa ba akwai wanda kawai daga abuja ne su ga fulawa su ga titi sun ɗauka najeriya kawai ko ina haka yake da kyau bayan abubuwa da yawa suna faruwa hajiya menene za ki ce ga wannan saƙon da kika gabatar ma da mutane menene kike so mutane su yi kamar iri na yanzu I'm very troubled here.
To, kaga first ya kamata we have to try to step out of our comfort zones as much as we can. Rayuwa because we are privileged, it doesn't mean kowa is privileged gaskiya. Amma abu ne yake zuwa da passion. Idan kana da passion for something, to zaka iya yin shi. The little way that you can. Gaskiya a garuruwanmu ni I always say garuruwanmu because I don't even consider Abuja garinmu ne. A garuruwanmu where things actually happen. Wallahi, man, it is pathetic. It is pathetic. So as much as we can, ko a matakin NGO ne ko kama as an individual ne, some of these children, kamar ɗaya yanzu an ce tana NCE, you know, so we try mu ce okay kila wannan term din zan biya school fees ɗinta, you know, little things that we can do. Wannan ba wani abu bane. So in kana da NGO kana da waye kamar ku kuna tare da 'yan siyasa kuna da waye, please ku riƙa gaya musu irin wannan saƙonin. They need to pay attention to girls. Thank
you very much. Ai ba gaya musu zame ba. Kujeran za mu kwace me abin da ya kamata. In ba za mu yi ba ka Allah ya ba mu sa. Thank you very much for your time. Of course, kujera za mu kwace fa. Like I said, if we can't do the right thing, then may Allah not even make us succeed. Having said this, there is this saying that when the sky is falling, it's not a one man's business. Like I said, this is not just a movie show. It is a message to each and every one of us. We have to take action. According to my mentor, Malcolm X, he says that we do so much singing that it is time to stop singing and start swinging, if you get my message. So at point, we will be taking 2 questions, or rather, yes, maybe one in Hausa, one in English, to make it in Hausa that we are dealing with. So, from behind, Hausa ko Turanci? Yawa, Hausance mu? Ke ma in Hausa ne? Ba room for in Hausa, amma dai mu je zuwa.
So it's more like a contribution. Regarding issues in the muke facing, Hibaf is a very big body now, obviously. Information sharing is very, very important. Kunga yanzu abubuwan nan zaman mu da muka yi anan ne, aka yi raising issues din, aka yi projecting a TV. If, for example, we have a platform, ban ce social media platforms ba, because dan little exposure da na samu in another country, they make information sharing a very, very important part of their life. Because ko kana ƙauye ne, there are people that will go to a website and see the advocacy programs da kuke yi ma irin matan nan, and see advocacy programs da ake with the people with disability. Now, in ma baka iya yin kuma, you know that cewa there are these people that exist. So me, in my own little and humble opinion, it's best idan akwai websites where you share success stories or this type of traumatizing stories, because the world needs to know. And then there are people that are willing to support the body in its entirety. I'm not talking about Facebook here. I'm not talking about Twitter here. No, I'm talking about websites that gwamnati tana gani, mu ma muna gani. In my own opinion, I think information sharing is very candid.
Thank you very much. Okay. Okay. Sada, I need one more.
ba dan ƙari ne kaɗan zan yi da kuma ban san me yasa ba a duk lokacin da na ci karo da irin wa'innan documentary din sai in ga kawai matan ake kallo ba a kallon mazan. Why su mazan su ma ba za a rinka bibiyan su ba, yara ne manya ne su ma ana interview da su irin yanda ake da wannan, a'a koko ba sa barin ku ne ku yi interview da su koko menene, ba mu san ina matsalan take ba da kullum sai a ce a wayar da kan mata su ma san me yasa ba za a wayar da nasu kan ba. Na gode.
So,
Thank you very much. My question is to you, Doctor. So when you had this opportunity to interview these people, I also saw that you interviewed the doctors in the hospital and that. But did you think of exploring the commissioner in the state or the people that are responsible for protecting these girls or ensuring that they get justice? And what challenge did you face when you tried to do so, if you did? Thank you.
Okay, I will just take the three. Thank you very much for contribution into the first speaker. We will refer him or her to that center. So whoever is willing to help these children or other children that are sexually abused, I can gladly refer him to the Jigawa State Referral Center for Sexual Abuse and Violation. So suna the website, suna the komi, and they are open. And in fact, wasu mutane sun jejje bayan haka, because one of the victims, unfortunately, basu bani consent ba, she was raped over what? Ruwa. Suna zuwa borehole, gidan wani da ke da borehole yake ɗaukar ruwa. When it was discussed, someone went and dug a borehole for them in the community. So these are things that we can do actually, and thank you very much for that. Secondly, mazan da kike cewa na ɗaya, they are the perpetrators. They have the power. When the sexual abuse is a relationship ne na power. And the person who has the power, he doesn't need me. In fact, he doesn't want to be known. So why will he, some of them, you can't even see them. You can't, because I even tried going to the correctional center to see if I will interview some of them in custody. They refused. And I can't, honestly, so I can't. And the last question, yes, Leila, thank you very much, yes. What did she say? I can get quite overwhelmed. But she raised a very important question. What was your question, Leila? They will not see you. I went to see the Commissioner of Justice, 9 appointment, the Shiyapi so uku. Yabani email in I wrote several emails, he will not respond. I got tired, I told him, sir, if I have to publish this thing, I'm going to publish it. Yeah, because in fact he said I mustn't publish it, say Yagani. Yeah, but again, I'm a citizen, so you will not see them. Magana Gaskia, you will not see them. The Grand Kadi, I went to the Grand Kadi, I went to the Commissioner, but the hurdles are always there. So me, I find it easier to approach these little children and see how we can help them kawai at individual level to so yeah, that's the best we can do.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zainab Angu. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as interesting and provoking as this conversation is, it has come to an end. We can do it on other platforms. However, before I draw the curtain, I would say that in my class, I was told that applause is freely given and not requested for. If you feel and believe that Dr. Zainab, a courageous Nigerian who had gone through all the hurdles to come up with this, if you believe she deserves an applause, please join me, please.
There you go.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zainab. Thank you for sharing this with us. Thank you, Suleiman, for the wonderful moderation. How are we on time? Do you want to take a 5-minute break? No? Okay. Yes? Okay, so let's take 5 minutes. We'll be back. I have a question before we go. Who is the most jailed Nigerian politician? That is a gift. Who is the most jailed Nigerian politician? Apart from my guess should not answer. Basil, no. Who are you? No, Aisha, no. Another hand. Who? Obasanjo. Another option. The most jailed Nigerian politician. I want to see hand first before you answer. Hamza Al-Mustafa. No. The most jailed Nigerians do that also. Will start by 4 on the dot. Thank you for staying.